Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to Inside the Lines. Again, a quiet week right now with the All-Star break, but we're going to do our best to fill this time. We're going to talk about some NBA futures we have some value on, answer a ton of questions related to that. But before we get into that, let's bring in Steven and Jake here. We had our first full weekend of college baseball. Jake, how are we feeling after that?
We're good. I'm feeling good about college baseball, not so good after recovering from being a groomsman at my cousin's wedding, but everything's good.
Yeah. Yep. That is a tall order in itself. All right. Well, before we get into our NBA stuff, I want to get through two college plays that Jake has for us, two major Hollywood games here. We'll go back to college baseball today with San Jose State money line versus Cal State Fullerton. Obviously, why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah. So this is interesting. I know a lot of people are actually on Fullerton, but San Jose State's started the season 0-3. They're the Mountain West favorites. They were up 11-0 at one point yesterday. They lost 12-11. But now they're going back at home where they were, I think, 16-8 last year. They're a lot worse on the road. Fullerton actually won the series at Stanford, and they had a lot less travel from Stanford to San Jose. So a lot of people are on Fullerton for those reasons, but the model thinks it should be a 50-50 game. I like San Jose State being back at home, needing a win after starting 0-3. 0-4 would be a tough start, especially after being the preseason favorites to win the Mountain West. Fullerton's, I think, like in the middle of the pack and the Big West. But so I'm just going with the plus 165 money line. Take a little bit of a gamble here.
Yeah, I like that value there. And you said the model has us closer to 50-50 game?
Yeah, we have it pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, I'll take the plus 165 there. Mm-hmm. All right, one more play here. If you guys haven't, if you could hit that like button for us, that would be awesome. Again, any questions you have in the chat, please let us know. Let's head over to the college baseball play of the day. Some alt line situations here. We're going Howard alt line plus Nicholas New Orleans alt line over 145 here.
Yeah, just going with the chalk plays right here. Howard alt line -4 and Nichols New Orleans over 145.
Oh, so boring.
Just how everyone had it. Yeah. No, Howard, we have good value on -8.5. We have them, I think, winning by 12. Howard, I don't love it. The -8.5, we had it at good value on money line at -6.5. So I just decided to take the alt line -4 since we have them winning by 12. And then Nichols New Orleans, we have the line at 152 in the model. It's moved up from 148 to 149. So steam is on the over. And we like the over. So I like playing two alt lines at plus money right here.
Like that, a good old 2-leg parlay. Derek brought this up in the chat. I have to draw attention to it because I think it's absolutely absurd. We were talking about it earlier. One of Sacramento State's players got hit by a pitch 8 times over the weekend in his 9 appearances to start the season.
Yeah, 7 times, 7 of the 8 appearances in a doubleheader on Friday. So it must be pretty sore.
That's insane. Like, does this happen way more than it does in the MLB, and I'm just not aware of it?
No, this does not happen in the MLB. A lot of players don't get hit 8 times in a full season.
You guys won't remember this reference, but Coach from Cheers, that was his thing. He was a former baseball player. He's an idiot, kind of dumb guy character. And his specialty was he could get hit by a pitch in the head whenever he wanted. And so that's from 1983, that reference, just so you know.
So it's looking like Fullerton game was just canceled. So I'm just going to go with a play I'm just going to go with another play. I'm going to go with value. We have value on UNLV plus 3.5 against Stanford. So I'm going to go with that, with model value on that play as well.
All right. Good to know. UMLV plus the 3.5 for Stanford. Good to know there. We'll get that on the recap screen going. All right. We have some futures to get through here. Any questions you guys have, let's hear them. But we also have a few act now plays for when the NBA All-Star break comes to an end. So for the February 22nd, we have some plays if you want to act on early. But let's head over to our futures first. Now, this is something we've had a lot of success with in the past. Model projection win totals versus the lines. Some good value here with the Cavs to go over their win total, Steven.
Yeah, the line is lower because they have 3 more remaining road games than home. But the value is there because they've been basically as good on the road as they have been at home this year. 17-8 straight up with a +6 point differential.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. Let's move on to another one. This is I had to double check you right here when I saw this. I was like 14.5. That's the full season win total. That is insane.
So the thing about them is, if you ignore their 28-game losing streak, they're actually a pretty decent 8-18. So they win. That's a pretty decent win percentage for a bad team. They had a recent stretch that won 5 out of 12 games. They had to go 7 for 21 the rest of the way. So again, you take away that 28-game losing streak, and they should be a lock. I also like their main weakness this year has been not only their horrible home record, which is the same as their bad road record, but it's because they get out-rebounded at home. And it's one thing they've been doing better with Duren especially. So they have a very fixable problem, which is rebound the ball at home. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I was trying to type a poll in the chat here, but I mean, this is like our best model value. Like, this is pretty strong 4-win value. Jake,
especially when the line's so low, that's like picking the good team to go 12 games over there. Line.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't hate this. I feel like we're all about the ugly plays here. We've never shied away.
Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like they have a ton. Everyone likes to get a higher draft pick, but they don't have there's no tank for a Wemby type player.
No, I mean, Alexander Sarr is the top draft pick, and he's not even close to the level.
And they've been stinking for a while. With Monty Williams, they don't want to. They're not of all the teams that are tanking. I think they'll try harder than most tanking teams.
Yeah, there's not much separation, I think, in the top 1 through 5 picks. Sarr, and then a guy, another European player, a couple guys in the G League. So
they got to start building a culture. They got to start building a culture of winning, which is more important than which you can this part of the year when a third of the teams you're playing aren't trying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scott asking a quick college basketball question in the chat. Iowa State plus the 9. Jake, if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, it's so hard to bet against Houston at home, but 9's a lot against good Iowa State.
We have them at 8.5 point favorite, so there's a minimal lean towards Iowa State.
Yeah, there's the smallest, might be a live play in that game if you want, but I bet we have slight value on the over. I bet under. This is a game where I think it's going to be dominated defensively. I got it at 129.5. It's already down to 127.5, so maybe an all-line under here. I know Chip Patterson's on the under here as well, so I don't mind the under here.
All right. Some kind of play here we like. Always going to find something for the crew in the chat. All right, let's move on to one more win total here. We're going to Minnesota over 55.5 wins. Again, just like a couple games worth of value here. Yeah,
I mean, they've played a whopping kind of 7 more road games than home games this year. They still are on a 58 win pace based on the win percentage. So they've been and they've been so good at home. So they're going to have a lot of home games down the stretch. 19-5 straight up, plus 10 point differential at home. I also like when young teams are having their first great year. That's when they're really motivated to get that, 1 seed and that good record. Other teams that have been there, done that, like defending champs like Denver, aren't going to put that kind of effort in, but this team will.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make a quick point. I'd love to get a chat's opinion on this. Trying to make a poll right now. We're thinking of this little off topic. We're probably changing our show time. We're thinking if we go to 5 p.m., we can be a lot closer to tip off from some of these NBA games after all the scratches and stuff like that. We'd be able to answer a lot of questions and just kind of go as long as you guys would want us to in regards to the question, the chat involvement. So making a poll for that, just curious if you guys think 5 p.m. would be better or if you guys still like the 1 p.m. show. I think we're going to give it a try regardless, but given the NBA season and the short shelf life now without the NFL, I think it might be better to go there. So would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Just throwing that out there. All right, let's move on. We got 4 more futures that we want to look at here. Let's go to division winners, looking at the Southeast and the Southwest, both with some value. Orlando Magic, I mean, plus 120 for a team we have over 50% chance of winning. That's pretty good value.
Yeah, one step back what you said about the poll. Like I just thought a benefit of going at 5 p.m., especially during baseball season, is we can do some live betting during games. And the negative is I will miss my early bird special because I like to eat pretty early, so that'll screw me up.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, I like Orlando because Orlando's the dog versus Miami in the division because they already lost the season series to Miami, so they have to get more wins. And Miami's got a pretty insurmountable overall division record. But Orlando has they played more road games than home, 3 more road than home. They've been really good at home though, 18-8 straight up, plus 6-point differential. I just think that Miami, their whole thing is turn it on in the playoffs. And if they're kind of locked into kind of a play-in type situation, they're probably comfortable with that, for lack of better words. So I think that Orlando, again, is going to play better and harder to get that playoff push. I also like that. I noticed based on some props I've been getting that the Franz Wagner has been playing better, shooting better on the road. And some of that he had a nasty road home split before, and it's been closing as he's been playing better on the road.
Mm-hmm. The Pelicans here, the minus 185 looks ugly, but if you look at our model projection, I mean, we have them pretty much. Can I call 83% a lock?
I think that people have a little too much faith in Luka and Dallas. The Pelicans are up on 1 game in the division, and they split the season series. The Pelicans have played 3 more road games than home games. And the reason why the Pelicans aren't even better is their point differential is great at home, +6, but their record's only 16-10. So I think the regression to the mean in their case will be a higher win percentage to reflect how good they've been statistically overall. Dallas, on the flip side, has played 5 more home games than road. And their record is probably better than it should be because they're 15-10 straight up on the road, despite having a negative point differential. So if the regression to the mean in these 2 cases, Dallas plays more road games and doesn't win 60%, wins closer to 50%. The Pelicans play more home games and win closer to 70% as opposed to the 62%.
Yeah. And is there a chance we have more Zion coming in the second half of the season, or do we just?
Well, so far so good. They seem to be working it pretty well that he doesn't. And again, with a skew towards home, then hopefully he'll play better, or maybe he'll play worse because he'll eat more. I don't know.
This is true. You never know. All right, let's move on. 2 different teams we're looking at that possibly could win the East. Sixers definitely being more of a long shot here, but I mean, everything kind of feels like a long shot right now. But again, another play on the Cavs. We're high on them. Yeah,
so the Cavs, their strengths I love because it's defense, rebounding, and the ability to win on the road. What's holding them back, I think, price-wise, is Donovan Mitchell, after some great playoff performances when he's to start his career, has kind of flopped in recent years. So I think that's hurt people's faith in him and this team. So I think the value here at +900 is there. And Philly is more of a Embiid usually gets hurt late in the year, and not only does he tries to tough it out, but he plays at like 60-70% effectiveness. If his injury, and I'm not a doctor, is something that does heal 100%, then maybe he'll actually come back fresh and as good as he has been this year, which is a 40-point per game scorer that's utterly unstoppable. So if you can still get +1700, which actually I just checked and may have ticked off of that this morning. These are all best prices. It might be worth it.
And this is one of those teams I'm really curious to see once we have at least a few games of data with all the trades that went on to see how player props are affected with and without Embiid on the court, because that's certainly one of those teams that have kind of had a pretty big impact relative with the trade deadline. All right, let's move over to the model here. Let's start to look at some of these teams to make or miss the playoffs. There's 2 teams that we like to make the playoffs. We have some value on here. Another play I was stunned by when I saw it this morning was that Golden State is plus money to make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, so it's not surprising because they're going to be the playing game. So they'll have to win 2 in a row, and they'll have to play the Lakers probably in the first round of the playing game. But at least the model likes the value because they've been really good on the road, +4 point differential. They've just been shockingly bad at home, and that's going to regress back to, I think, the mean, which is where they're a great home team. I think the emergence of Kuminga as another great scorer and good defensive player, and Clay had a huge game coming off the bench for the first time in a while. So maybe the vibes will be good there. But I just like them at plus money to win 2 games to get into the field.
Was it last year that they were a bad home team as well, or am I thinking of something?
No, last year they were awesome at home and horrible on the road, and this year it's been flipped. Yeah. So that's why it's like if you're going to ask me like what are the chances that this Golden State Warriors team start playing well at home, I think that's pretty darn high.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to one other team that we like to make the playoffs, Chicago.
So in our simulations, we love Chicago. No, we don't love Chicago, but we like Chicago as the 18th best team in the league. Much better than the Hawks, who they probably play in the play-in tournament. So that's one reason why we like Chicago value. They're pretty much a lock for the play-in. They're 2-0 against the Hawks this year. And last year, if you remember, Miami, before they went on their run, was down, I believe, 4 or 5 with around 3 minutes left to Chicago in the play-in tournament. So this team is not that arguably much different on paper than Miami. They just didn't have any clutch performances down the line. But I think that without Zach LaVine, they've got some step up in the clutch play from Kobe White and some other players.
Kobe White, that's our guy. All right, let's move on. Not too much of an exciting play, but at plus 260, there still is value here. We do like Boston to win the championship. Where do you think we would set this line if we were making it? Might be a Jake question.
Plus 300, right? I can calculate the other way a lot faster than this way. I still have but basically I like them because the best percentage value is still Cleveland, but the percentage point difference is basically the same between Boston and Cleveland. And so when you can still get plus 260, and you can get like whatever, nearly 4 percentage points of value. I'd like 4 percentage points of value at plus 260 than the long shot of plus 3,000. But maybe you try both, and probably, if you have a 37% chance of worst case scenario making plus 160.
Big Cheesy was asking about the Lakers, if there's any value on them to win the West, if we like them at all. I know we didn't really touch the West too much.
Me personally, I love LeBron. I believe in the team, but Model is not going to, based on how bad their numbers are overall. So yeah, and the fact that they have to be in the play-in and they'll have to, go that tough route.
Yeah, the play-in situation kind of scares me for them. All right, let's move on to a few plays, some Act Now plays. If you were looking at the 22nd, Thursdays when the NBA starts back up, just a few plays that probably will catch some steam headed the way the model is. We'll start with the Knicks taking their money line at plus money versus Philly. Probably won't be able to have plus money on that by Thursday, right?
Yeah, the consensus line is already minus 101. I see these are all based on when the sim is on, the sim here actually likes Philadelphia at this point, but I just noticed that the line moved a critical point. So when the spread's so close to pick 'em, you might as well get plus money while you can if you like New York.
Right.
I mean, and Hartenstein should be back after missing the last couple games before the All-Star break. So I know the model loves him because he's a great rebounder.
The model seems to be early returns after the trade. We did say that they might struggle with not be as good as people thought.
Right. All right. Well, if you do like the Knicks, it's definitely an Act Now situation. Let's move on to another Act Now here with Phoenix. 3-point dogs on the road headed to Dallas. You think this will probably get smaller, closer to
the consensus is still like 2.5. So if you can get 3 on Phoenix, I would grab it while you can. I think it'll get tighter because it's not like anyone got hurt. I think Beal should be back.
What's our projected score? I can't.
We like Phoenix straight up.
Oh, all right. Well, then, yeah, I take that definitely now while you can. All right, let's go to another road dog here with the Clippers. We like them plus the 2.5 at OKC.
Well, we actually like OKC, but the public seems to be steaming towards the Clippers side. So if you like that, you might want to grab them while you still can get decent plus 2.5. Otherwise, you might get closer to a plus 1 by the time the game starts. But we'll probably have value on OKC.
Right. All right, let's move on. I believe we have one more play here. Golden State minus the 4.5 versus the Lakers here. That'll be a good game.
Yeah, we again, model's high on Golden State. And the line opened on consensus line opened at -3, so it's already moved 1.5 points. It seems to be settled in at 4.5, but this move happened early. There could be some positive momentum coming out of the Curry had a nice performance and a really exciting, probably the highlight of the All-Star Saturday night. And like I said, the Lakers don't travel well traditionally. You never can tell what team comes out from LA, but the one that we've seen overall has not been good.
Did you guys watch any of the All-Star game? I think I watched like 3 minutes of it, and that was just painful.
I was pleasantly surprised because my daughter wanted to watch The Matrix. So I was like, yes. So I watched that instead.
All right. Let's see. Just making sure I didn't see any questions. I think we're good on that. Again, if people have other questions, let us know. Gonna pop in our new recap screen. Give me 1 second here. We're now on UNLV here instead of our, what was it, Fullerton? One of those awesome teams.
It's San Jose State over Fullerton.
Yes. All right. Well, here are a few, again, just saying, not necessarily model plays, but just monitoring the lines and the steam. So if you do like any of these teams or these plays to cover, I would act now before Thursday's slate. Again, college baseball, we got to play college basketball, a nice 2-leg alt line parlay here. That's all we got today. Pretty quiet day. Tomorrow we'll talk more about March Madness, and then we'll talk about the NFL draft even more into the week, just getting ready for some of those big things. Future shows, very, very important and a very successful part of this team. So pay attention to those. With that, good luck with your bets tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.